we're doing everything correctly. I'd like to hand it over to Member Balki to start with the karakia for us.
Te tia toa homai kia mātou, tō rangi Māori e, tō aroha, tō kaha, tō maramatanga, mō tēnei rā. God give us your peace, your wisdom, your help to make great decisions for our community. Ask a blessing on everyone in this room, our communities and our whānau. Amen.
Thank you, Rachel. So move on to apologies and conflicts of interest. We've got an apology from Councillor Foy. And any conflicts of interest? No. Who's going to move? I'll move that. Second. Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, public forum. I don't think we've got many speakers. Definitely not on our run sheet.
Can I
yes.
Molly here, the land drainage chairperson, and to go to the land drainage bylaw review.
Yep.
Thank you staff for doing what they've done to date, and it can carry on moving forward because this has been absolutely great progress to date. And thank Tui and Alistair and the team. Working on the management and etc. And appreciate that input and the council backing behind getting these bylaws up and running, and more importantly the management plan and being able to clearly understand what our assets are and what our roles and responsibilities are within the district. Thank you.
Thank you, Fiona. We appreciate everything you've been doing in that line for the last 6 years, or more probably. Okay, so we'll move on to item 4. No, we've got a deputation, Natasha, or is this
We have no deputations.
No deputations.
No, we have speaker.
We have a speaker online, I take it, for the deputation.
Oh, online.
It's on she's on. Victoria Lilo Kapaki.
Is she online? Okay, sorry Victoria, I didn't.
Are you there, Victoria?
Kia ora. Kia ora tātou.
I take it you're speaking to the application, funding applications?
Aye. Are we ready to go?
Yes, please.
Okay. Oh, well, morena tātou, ko Victoria Lilo Kapakingi tōku ingoa, huri tēnei no Ngāti Kahu, no te pātū.
Ai, tēnā tātou, ko Kiringawa Evans ahau, no Kaitaia ahau, ko au te Kaipūtia, the treasurer for the Taitokero Māori Women's Regional Council.
Kia ora, ka pai. So my role is I am kaitautoko, as you would already know, reading our funding application. So we popped our application through to the Te Hiku Community Board grants. I'm going to let my friend Kiringawai give a bit of background to our kaupapa, and then we'll jump into the numbers. Kia ora.
Ka pai. So the Māori Women's Welfare League is an incorporated society. We are in our 71st year of establishment of legacy. We started in 1951 and our first president was Dame Whina Cooper. So we've been led by some heroic and strong wahine from the north. Our other presidents have been Dame Mirasazi, and we've also had our local kuia from Kaitaia, being being Miri Miri Patricevic and Muriwai Popota. So this year we're lucky to be the host of the 71st conference up at Te Rangi Aniwaniwa in Kaitaia. And we're looking at hosting 1,000 people tomorrow being our pōwhiri, and our conference continues on right from Wednesday to Sunday in Kaitaia. We're expecting 1,000 tomorrow and 600 every day after, just in terms of conference attendees, not including the whānau and the support and the others that have come just to be a part of this event in Kaitaia.
Kia ora. Kia ora. So do we have any pātai on any of those points?
No.
No. Ka pai. I'll just touch on our on the pūtea side of things for our kaupapa. So our budget at the moment is just over $300,000, and we've been working hard over the last 6 months to try and secure some pūtea. So it does come down to the region hosting to put up a large majority of the pūtea to pay for conference. So to date, we have received $279,700, and those are listed under the tagged funds section of our application. As you all see, there's a little bit of a gap there, hence why we put our tono through to the community board. Anything else to add on that, Ehua? I suppose our biggest costs are our catering to feed all of our manuhiri.
And hireage. Hireage is significant because we're hiring in marquees, hiring in sound, staging, lighting, hiring in tables, chairs. So of all of the costs, that's the biggest that we are covering for the event.
Yeah. Ka pai. Any pātai on the pūtea side of things?
Adele has a question.
Victoria. Hello, Victoria. It's Adele Gardner speaking. I'm online as well. I just wanted to ask you, because I couldn't see in the application, that the people coming to the conference, usually there's a registration fee that has to be paid. Is there a registration fee that's being paid by the people attending?
Yes, there is a registration fee, and so we've received around $100,000 in registrations, and that's listed in our tagged funds, and that's contributed to our $279,000 that we've received already.
Okay, thank you.
Kia ora.
Any more questions?
Through the chair, Bill Zabriskie, is this an annual event? I'm just looking at my notes and I can't see anything.
Yes, it is an annual event that's hosted in different regions. So it comes to Tai Tokerau every 8 years. So the last national conference was held in Whangarei, and then there were 2 years of COVID, so it was deferred for 2 years.
Bill Zabriskie again. So in terms of running costs for the original ones, for the earlier ones, how did you guys work out in terms of funding for the previous events?
Yeah, this year's just been a little bit extra because we're bringing in so much infrastructure to hire to have the event in Kaitaia. So with the event in Whangarei, because the venue has a lot of the equipment, the extra cost is us bringing up our hireage for sound and all that to Kaitaia, as well as the costs for hiring have gone up. Just over the last 2 years, we've seen an increase in those prices.
Thank you.
Through the chair, it's Rachel Balke here. Hey, I see there's reference here to some quotes, like for your higher age, there's 3, but I can't see them in the report. Is Catherine there? Has she got those quotes we could just have a look at?
I am here, yes, and you should have received supplementary information with all of that. Is that not there?
No.
Okay.
We can have a look.
Yeah, when we
Absolutely.
discuss the,
We'll have a look at that with you, Catherine, when we discuss the application later on.
thank
No
you,
problem
Any
at
more
all.
questions?
not from me.
Kapai, thank you very much. Ladies, thank you for be looking at it, making a decision later on in the meeting.
Ka pai. Oh, tēnā koutou. Kia ora.
Ngā mihi, thank you for your time. Ka kite.
Right. So we're going to move on to 6.1 on the agenda, it's confirmation of the previous minutes. Is anyone, do we move that right now? Do we move that first? Yes. Second. And Bill, second that. Anyone got any discussion around the previous minutes?
What did they receive in print and person, not online? Speakers.
Well spotted, Cheryl. We need to amend that, or it's not?
It's not that important, but the might as well get it right.
I wasn't present, but can I say I'm really happy about the Ngātu Lake alcohol ban, and also the support for the subsidy support for school groups wanting to visit Suhike Busby Waka Centre. Really happy about that, and to let you all know too that there are 2 Hawaiian canoes coming in November 14th, 15th to Waitangi from Hawaii, the Hokulea and the Hikianalia, which is, the start of that whole movement there for, they've been called the 7th tribe of Taitokere. Yeah, so that's no.
Coming on up to Tiaru?
Sorry?
Are they coming on up to Tiaru?
I'm not, they will, because it'll be Nainoa Thompson that year. They'll be here for a while, I think. And they have a vested interest in that the Kupinga Waka Centre there for wānanga and things. So kia ora for those 2 things, ka pai.
Through the chair, could I ask, Wire, do you have much contact with them?
I've seen the comms.
Yeah. No, they raised an issue with me, and I just wondered if anyone had followed up in terms of registering themselves as a training provider. Did you hear anything? Or maybe I need to...
There is a training provider for Waka Haurua. No, I haven't.
Okay.
I think that's with Hoturua Kerr.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the only change was that Ricky Lee? Speaker was present and not online. Sorry, did you move that? I moved that.
Yeah.
All in favour?
Aye.
Okay. We go on to page 17. Item 7.1, an updated placemaking plan for Taipa. And we have, oh yes we do, sorry. And we have Jay online. Is Jay going to speak first, or have we got some questions there? Are you going to speak to this, Jay?
I can speak quickly to it, Morena. It's basically more or less the same placemaking plan that was submitted in October last year. It's just got the amendments that were requested in the resolution by the Te Hiku Community Board in October last year. So those amendments are adding cost estimates in for the placemaking items listed, and showing a location for trailer parks at Taipa Point. Thanks.
Adele, were you happy with the trailer parks after you saw that latest email? The change?
Yeah, thanks, John. One thing I would quite like you to do, Jay, if it's possible, please, is to, now you would have seen my email about moving the Waka area northeast and taking out the trees in behind the Monganui Sailing Club and the tank, water tank. It's not to get used, and freeing up some land for parking. So it's not going to really a little plan to do just that, to actually fit it in within that area. If you can actually do that, please, and cost it, that would be great, so that we have some sort of costing, so we know what we're dealing with, whether it can go into an annual plan or whether it can go for other funding, I don't know. So you know exactly, I think, what I want.
Can I just clarify through the chair, sorry, Adele, if the placemaking plan does show a relocation of the Waka compound, do you mean a further relocation?
No, I'm talking about how much will all that cost to do that? That's what I'm sort of getting at.
Yep.
So I see the plan. It's on page, 36, is it?
Just have to check.
I think that's 36 that you're talking about, the relocation. And it'd be good to have a costing as to move that Waka area over, take out the trees and the water tank. And I know that we won't have funding for the car parks for metalling or anything like that. It'll be just grass. We know that. So that little cost would be great too, because it would be good to actually advance that.
Okay.
To complete stage 2.
Do you want that information provided as a further amendment to this placemaking plan, or as a separate piece of information?
Whatever's the easiest to do.
It's probably easier to submit it as a separate piece of information in a future report to the Te Hiku Community Board, and that allows this placemaking plan to be adopted.
Sorry, can I ask, where would the Waka compound go?
Oh, just further. It was not going to go anywhere. It's just going to go further northeast, and so we can make more room for parking. They're still going to have. They're still going to be able to use the walkers and get in and out quite safely. It's just a matter of moving it them northeast.
Hilda, can you see on page 36? There's the green outline beside the Sailing Club, which shows the current location of the Waka compound, and then there's a red outline as to the proposed relocation of that compound.
Through the chair, Bill, so in other words, they don't lose any space.
No.
Oh, no, not at all.
That's okay.
Okay.
I think we have a question.
That was the plan. If that can be costed, that would be great, because that'll actually complete stage 2 then and allow for further parking, as we requested in our resolution.
We've got Roger online. He's got his hand up. Want to speak, Roger?
Yes, through the chair. Just want to confirm if we can capture that in the resolution, if it needs to be captured or further clarified in the resolution, and look for it to be reported back to the community board. It's all right.
As a separate report.
Yeah, just a record on the resolution of today, so we can actually make sure that we're collecting it up to feed into annual plan LTP processes.
Okay.
Yes, I just think it would be handy to meet with the All-Mātai Club, that's all, and have that conversation too.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you there, Hilda. As this is in discussions, and then we'll have to sort of meet with them as well. I mean, they pay I'm not sure what it is, whether it's a monthly lease or what it is at the moment, or a ground lease. I don't know. I don't know what the status of it is. Somebody needs to let the board know what the status is.
We can,
Okay,
I can
so-
include that in my future report.
So how do you want it to read it, Del? That the community board adopts the plan subject to?
It's subject to a costing of the movement northeast of the Walker compound, taking the trees out and behind the Monganui Sailing Club, and also the water tank. As far as I know, the water tank's not being used, but we better check that out with the Sailing Club, because they're the only other people I think that may affect. I don't know, but at any rate, we'd have to check that one out as well. So there's a little bit of work to do there. So subject to getting the costings and having a drawing as to where it's going to be placed. Well, it's there. And the cost of doing all that work.
To provide more parking.
Yeah, to provide more parking.
Is it for trailer boats or is it just for cars?
Well, it depends on how much land we're going to free up. So we can just, I'm not quite sure what sort of land we'll free up once we've done that work. Whether it'll be trailer boat parking or whether it'll be just parking.
Through the chair, at the moment we're showing standard parking.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
We can have some sort of resolution around that, please.
Just something to throw in. Two things. I hope we don't have any of those blue seagull furniture things, because I think they're a waste of money. But I had a number of conversations about people talking about how there's a lot of fishing people going out and they're throwing the guts and the heads and the frames into the water around Taipa there, which brings all the stingrays back into the inlet there. And maybe it's irrelevant here, but they wanted some sort of education program about stopping that. I mean, that's happening. I don't know if you know where Peter Lucas stays. You turn right to go to Pedia, and there's people parking up there and doing all that stuff as well. But I'll get off a canoe on Sunday morning and be parking in the water.
That's a separate conversation. So we're talking about the Waka being the Waka armour fencing being moved. So that could be a separate conversation at another time.
I think it's education, it's signage. We have the same problem in Hobart.
You have the same with Rangiputa too.
And, brings all the bonds whalers around. And okay, Adele, so are we going to move, I was going to move this, that the board adopts the amendment. Have we got the wording as someone picked up?
We do, yes. So we thanks. Have you done it?
That Te Hiku Community Board A adopts the amended 2024 Taupa placemaking plan, and B requests that staff investigate the cost of moving the Waka area / compound northeast and removing the trees to free up more parking
And water.
and water tanks.
Yeah.
Moving trees and water tanks?
Yeah.
Water tanks, I think, is only one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well done.
I can have that. One.
So I'll move that resolution.
Oh, Darren will second it.
All in favour?
Through the chair, one question about that. I've had quite a few people message me saying that roundabout is a awful roundabout. That they can't, it's so tight they can't get around it with boat trailers. It's not, and with more traffic coming and more car parks and more access, and it's a real problem. Could we just
So is this something?
to relook at it just to see? Yeah, it's very. So you can see in the picture. Look at how tight it is going around that outside. Yeah.
But that's not part of the new.
No, but I'm just bringing it up, saying we're talking about it. That I've had a lot.
It's a new one.
People say that it is a new roundabout.
Oh,
It was included in that.
Apparently that's where the stormwater ends up, in there. So it has its uses, that roundabout.
I'm just relaying the frustration of the locals.
And I would just like it noted that it's important that the community board or our staff member talks to the Waka Club, because that is a Ngāti Kahu group that represents a number of waka, not just waka ama, but waka categories. There's waka taua, there's waka tete, there's waka ama. So that would require a really good conversation. Good luck.
So Hilda, would you like to set up a meeting? Because we're in the middle of elections and none of us may not get it.
Sure, and I know what the answer's going to be.
What do you mean?
They'll say no. Yeah.
Well, it's council land at the end of the day, and they are leasing it. So, I mean, we're not. They're only going to move it.
Meeting at some time. Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be great. Please.
You mean around the moving of the?
Definitely.
Have these plans been consulted already? With how far have we gone with these plans with iwi and everything?
I don't know that they
yes.
with that bit.
Not about that, but
no,
with yes.
Yeah, so all we've got to do is discuss the small change.
Yeah.
So maybe we wait till we get it priced up and the new report from staff, and then that consultation will be clear, because we're not sure how far we're moving, or does that sound?
It would be of great benefit to them. Maybe they obtain more land, get easier access. Like, you'd want to make sure it works for them. Yeah.
Are you happy with that, Adele?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Through the chair, Jane Michalik has her hand raised again.
Yes, Jane.
Roger.
Sorry, Roger.
Both of us. Through the chair, I'm happy to include engagement with the Waka Ama and would appreciate Hilda's offer to make that connection. Thank you, as part of developing the cost for this amendment to the resolution.
Roger?
I was just going to reiterate what Jay just said, that I think early engagement on this one with the Waka Ama group before we start putting plans and things in place was vital. And so, yes, if you could help us with that, that'd be appreciated.
Sure.
Thank you. We've moved it and it's all done, isn't it? Yep. We're up to 7.2, the land drainage bylaw. It's page 22. We've had a prior meeting with Fiona King, who's many emails over the weekend. Fiona, would you like to speak to this about our plans to leave it on the table and adopt a resolution around the council adopting the drainage into the district plan, I take it, something like that?
The maps, yeah.
The maps and the names, the maps, the updated maps.
First of all, I'd like to thank the staff for getting the bylaw to this position where they have now. But I feel that we maybe need more time, because within the bylaw that's in the agenda, we still do not have the true lengths of the drains. And we have to be mindful that the bylaw is talking about the existing assets, which have been there in the early 1900s. And I think that there needs to be more work through the bylaw to make sure that it is workable. We have parts in the bylaw where it actually says we need written approval from council but we don't have a process in place at this time to actually know where to go or how to go about it, and I think we need to actually work on that. We need to improve the maps, which is quite clearly in staff analysis that the maps need to be improved. We have areas in the Kaitaia here that is actually has drainage assets within it, but is not included in the maps. And I think to rush this through right now before the elections would be a backward step. Tui and Alistair have been working on the management plans. We've been working on the assets, and we've come a long way in the last 4 or 5 months, and we want that progress to continue. I would hate to see someone like Alistair take over this role and go out and try and implement a bylaw, which is going to last 5 years, so it won't be up for review for another 5 years. To find that it's a bit vague and a bit, well, I believe very hard to actually implement or to utilise when it comes about saying needing a written approval from council, and we don't have that process there yet, and I think that we should actually be able to work on that. I also think it's important that the land drainage maps be included in the district plan because it's becoming very clear up here as development is happening, whether it's change of land use from agriculture to horticulture, or from urban areas, moving out into the rural production areas and enclosing some of the land drainage drains, that access for cleaning, etc., become very restrictive. So I would like to see that included in the recommendation, that the process to gain written approval from the council needs to be addressed, and very clear how we do it. And when new approvals are given to the existing drains that we do know and have had for umpteen years, how is this going to be actually recorded? How do you go through a process of changing the land drainage assets? Where does the money come from to actually fund the maintenance and improvements of it? And I think all of those sorts of things need to be considered before we adopt a bylaw that may be unworkable. It actually hasn't been used that much by compliance or the council up till now. They're more the ones that I know of have used the RMA to actually issue abatement notices. And that's fine, but it's actually saying the bylaw doesn't seem to have enough teeth to actually implement, and we need to go through that to make sure that it does have that. Being part of the district plan would be a good thing for planners and for all the applications that are appearing in our area for new development, and they need to recognise that these drains are here. In particular, i.e. buildings, planting of trees, etc., too close to drains, that doesn't enable us to actually get in and clean the drains and restrict spraying, etc., with the horticulture that's happening up north. Is there any other?
So we have a resolution that we have in writing somewhere. Melina?
We do. So the recommendation is that the Te Hiku Community Board leave the land drainage bylaw analysis of submissions and adoptions report lie on the table and recommend that updated land drainage maps and a list of drains be escalated to council for inclusion in the district plan.
And that a process to gain a written approval from the council.
Should that be a separate one, Fiona? Should that be or in the same resolution?
Yeah, it's only because
there's no process whatsoever at the moment.
Within the plan, it always says you can do different things, but you can't do it without having first obtained the prior written approval of council. And I've been trying that for 4 years, doing the written approval, but all responses that I've had back from council staff, going way back to Troy Smith, they have not got a process. So we can't have a bylaw.
So if we could just add on that, and that council adopts a process for application for resource consent for change of
the council.
Oh, sorry.
That last one, Fiona.
So the process to gain written approval by the council.
Roger's got his hand up, and so does Tammy. Roger, did you want to speak?
Yeah, I just want to get clarity about what the resolution, but first and foremost, I think I just want to just hear from Tammy about what it means to bring, and this is, do apologise, this is going to be rough for Tammy. She's going to try and explain about what it means about bringing this into the PDP, so into the proposed district plan. So Tammy, do you want to talk to that?
Gotcha. I think I just want to highlight, first of all, that there have been submissions on bringing the land drainage into the proposed district plan. Those submissions have already been heard some time ago, so we've already had the hearing. So the matter now is with the panel, and so the next stage in the process is for the panel to make their recommendations to council, whether they recommend to bring in the framework that's been talked about today into the proposed district plan. At this point in time, the council officers did not support those submissions. So the panel, though, has the ultimate decision on that, however, looking at both sides of the argument. So what we have to be careful here is council can't predetermine the outcome as well. So elected members will need to make decisions on the recommendations by the hearing panel. So I just want to also raise that we just have to careful here that we're not predetermining an outcome, that council needs to wait to hear all matters from the hearing panel first.
Are you talking about March next year, Tammy?
It's when the recommendations start making their way through to council formally. I'm just highlighting for those who are going to potentially be decision makers at the table on that. We just need to make sure that that people are mindful that they can't be seen to predetermine an outcome. They have to be neutral on it as we go into those stages.
So you're saying that anyone at the table that's standing for council shouldn't actually vote?
In terms of like a community board, a person who's going for a community board position, they won't be making a determination on that. But anyone who is going for a councillor position just has to be mindful that to have the ability to be involved in the end decision, as highlighted, you just need to be neutral in that space as we move into it.
Yeah. I understand that, and like you say, was it panel 9? I submitted along with Cheryl and Darren in regard to it. I understand that the planner's decision was not to have it in the district plan, and I understand, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that you believe that the bylaw is sufficient to be able to deal with the land drainage areas. And the other one is Kaipara has 40 land drainage districts. Have you looked at how they treat them?
So yes, you are correct there, Fiona. And the matter, as you say, was heard, and I recall you at the hearing. So yes, council reporting officers did not support bringing in the land drainage into the district plan. However, that decision will sit with the panel. So that is just the position of the report officers, but they don't make the end decision. So the panel will need to decide that. The issue we have is because the hearing is closed, we cannot bring any new evidence to the panel.
Yeah.
So with the matter being heard, we're bound to what has been now dealt with.
Well, if that was the case, and the community board has the delegation for the Kaitaia Drainage Area Committee, Waihara and Paikino Drainage Committee and Mototani Drainage Area Committee, why weren't they more fully involved from the start?
Oh, I'm sorry, Cheryl, that cut out. I didn't hear the question.
The board's got the delegation for the drainage committees. Why were they not more fully involved from the start then?
In terms of writing the proposed district plan?
From the start, that the land drainage maps should be included in the district plan, basically because of the impact on downstream properties, which affects our economic income.
I personally am unsure if that request was made to the district plan team when the proposed district plan was being written. I don't recall that matter being raised by the board at the time when the plan was being written. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, Roger wants to speak as well.
I just want to, sorry, through the chair, that we're clear about the resolution we put in place here, and just taking Tammy's lead on it to ensure that we've got a very clear resolution staff can act on. So I'd like to, if it's okay, to make sure we get this correct.
Through the chair, so the current or the recommendation at the moment is to leave the land drainage bylaw report on the lie on the table, and the updated land drainage maps and a list of drains be escalated to council for inclusion in the district plan. That's what it currently looks like now.
We'd also like, there's no process for application for changing, well, for the farmers to change drainage with resource consent. There's no process in council. Fiona King's tried to do it for many years and no one can give her answers. So we wanted to add that as well, Roger, that a process be made for application for resource consent.
If you don't mind, just through the chair, sorry, if it's okay, I'll get Brian. Brian has put a hand up. Just talk you through what happens around this bylaw making process to win right now, and then what happens afterwards. Brian, do you want to?
Good morning, everybody. So there's a few things. So one is the process for applying for a resource consent is the resource consent process, and that sits outside of this bylaw. So there is a note that's been added based on the submissions to provide clarity to that to the current draft bylaw, which tries to clarify the fact that resource consents or a building consent or anything like that sits outside of the bylaw. And so any resource consent that's required, you would have to follow the resource consent process that council has. And that's well documented on the website and managed through the resource consent team.
Sorry, Brian, we've got Fiona King here, who said there's no process in place for that application presently. Right, in the last few years, she's tried to do it herself. Want to speak to that, Fiona?
Yeah. First of all, I think we need to clarify with the land drainage bylaw. It works in the land drainage districts, which is a targeted rate only, for the purpose of maintaining the existing drains that have been there since the 1900s. That's why the list of drains should be in this bylaw with the measurements clearly stated. That is why the land drainage committees have working towards having a drone survey this year as to identify clearly the start and the finish of the existing drains. Because over the years, the drains have increased, or farmers or landowners have actually added on drains to the actual asset. It's important that this bylaw talks about the land drainage asset, and the assets that are there were a permitted activity under the regional rule. It has changed to a controlled activity for the existing assets. We are talking about is the existing assets. The whole bylaw actually says if you want to increase, add, alter from the existing scheme, you have to apply for a resource consent. And in the north, we have been left behind for years now because of the development that's been happening in our drainage areas without being able to have that process through this bylaw where you have to gain written approval by council prior, without having first obtained the prior written approval of council. Since Troy Smith was there over 5 years ago, probably longer now, the years roll past, that process hasn't been there. I have communications from him, from Glenn Raynham, and as the people were there, the amount of people that left. We have very good staff members working with us to get this management plan to make it very clear where the assets start and finish so that we can follow this process. But there is no process as written in the bylaw to follow. That's why we're asking that this include the process of council so that we can apply. And there is numerous amounts of activity that need to apply that I could actually give you a list of, which I had talked to Ruben in the past, but it is a waste of time giving you all these things.
Do you think, Fiona, I just wonder whether that request should be a separate resolution? I know it's part of the bylaw, but at least we can, I just don't, I don't know. I don't want confusion because one's changing a service, basically, changing the process.
Yes.
But it can be written into the bylaw, but I just wonder whether there is resolution to that council actually makes sure that there's a process in place for this, and that can be a separate resolution. No? Yes?
No, because if we support this bylaw, it lasts for 5 years. So if it says written approval from council and it hasn't been there for the prior 5 years, we're adopting something that these staff members that are doing so well are going to get run under a bus.
I think they want to. Cammy and Roger both got their hands up again, so we better listen to them.
Thank you, through the chair. I would just recommend that if you are going to pass a resolution that talks about a process, that you do remove, give yourself flexibility. Do not refer to the resource consent process. As highlighted to Briar, that unless there is actually a breach of a district plan, you can't require someone to go through a resource consent process. So I would recommend that you think carefully about the wording that you use there. It might be locking you into a process that you can't utilise.
I agree. That's why this bylaw does not say resource consent process. It's just a written approval of council. And then when you get a written approval from council through a process we're yet to develop, we need to have that recorded in order to add it to the management plan or the assets of the council as they change. And none of that is in place.
Roger, do you want to go or?
Yeah, just through the chair. So, so acknowledging what's been said here, if I was to articulate back to you what I'm hearing is the bylaws are getting approved and adopted, but what's not happening is those bylaws are not getting implemented into council processes. So we don't have a application process. We haven't got the details around that. We haven't, and how people apply to make these changes to the land drainage areas, or connect to the land drainage network, if I'm understanding that correctly. So Fiona, is that the issue here, that whether we have these bylaws adopted and then nothing happens with them and no one knows how to, there's no one in the council to talk to or contact with, and how you actually go about doing, changing those areas or applying to connect?
That is correct. There's nothing happened for the past 5 years. The bylaw in 2009 to 2019, that was a written simple document, and the officer could go out with that written simple document. Now we've got the 2019 one, and that has not been able to be utilised in the last 5 years. And now we're moving to the next 5 years, still not being able to work it as it is. And that's why I think we need more time to actually go through this to get it right for the next 5 years, because we have been making great progress with the FNDC staff to get to where we are now, and to actually rush the bylaws through now without the correct maps, without the correct drainage asset lists, etc., would be detrimental to all the work that's been done. And I don't like to see FNDC staff, as we've gone through so many of them, lose enthusiasm and direction with what we're actually doing now.
Yep.
So the C is that the council starts a process for. It's really what you're saying. I just want to be clear. Is it for new drainage or
for gaining written approval by council as per the bylaw?
For change of drainage, for alterations.
Well, that's got it written in, whether it's obstructions, whether it's.
Just need a wording for that, because I think it'd be handy to be a C rather than a separate one.
Yep. Yep.
No person shall widen or deepen. Yeah.
Can I just suggest something through the chair? That as opposed to limiting yourself to gaining written approval, would I know this might not be enough, but isn't it just the wording saying that the council implements the bylaw that is adopted by council, including any process changes, application forms, etc. Sorry, because it'll be wide-reaching across the organisation to get it properly implemented, not just a process for applying and getting approval.
No, I mean, for me, I would say when you implement the bylaw and then you work towards it, would be too risky. You've gone too many years down the track having done the same thing. And we need to have that clarification now, particularly in the north. It's affecting productivity, it's affecting development. If we don't clearly state it, we've got way too many change of use of land up here, that these rules need to be determined and very clear. And at the moment, that everyone can get away with it because we don't have the process within council under this bylaw to actually implement the bylaw at all.
How have we worded C? C still needs to be worked on, but at the moment it says gaining written approval by council as per the bylaw.
Well, we want a process.
Yeah, the bylaw may not be approved.
We need a process
in place
to gain written approval from council to alter or.
Through the chair, can I make a suggestion? Because this is about implementation of the bylaw, that staff report back a very clear implementation plan for the bylaw. So when staff report that back, they can include, exactly what the processes are and how that's going to be communicated and all the other bits. I know that there is an implementation plan that's been bullet pointed in the Info Council report, but we can expand on that and make sure that all these bits and pieces have been created and are in place to put up with the report, the adoption report of the bylaw.
Are you suggesting that the bylaw be adopted today and that stuff will come later?
That is normally what happens when we have processes like that. Because we need the bylaw to be adopted before we can put the process in place, but they are often in draft, so we can bring those processes back and so the community board can can see those draft processes and comment on those draft processes, and so then you can have confidence that when the bylaw is adopted, that those draft processes will be put in place.
We're sort of suggesting that the reverse, that the processes be made now, we don't adopt the plan, and then as a whole, we adopt the plan, including the processes.
Yep. Sorry, can I?
Roger, and we've got Donald wanting to speak. Roger, quickly.
Yep, so just to reiterate what Brian's saying, because what's happening is the bylaws are getting adopted by council, and then the implementation isn't happening. So to force that implementation process and ensure that we've got an implementation plan coming back, and to strengthen it, put it back onto staff to report back to the community board on the implementation of the bylaw, and report back on the activity that's been undertaken, and I'd say also reporting back to the land drainage boards as well, if you want to put that in there as well. But I'm saying that put it back on the staff, that we must report back on the implementation, first presenting an implementation plan and identifying clearly who the owners are inside the council, who owns these processes and who owns these application within each group department, and then for council staff to report back on that implementation activity. And therefore, you can adopt the bylaw and then put it back onto staff to report back on the implementation of that bylaw, which would include any processes that need to put in place around applications and approvals.
Donald, did you want to?
Through the chair. Under the legislation, there's no rush. There's no set time to make the bylaw. There's an extraordinary meeting next week, and the bylaw's on the agenda, but it doesn't have to be a kind of on the table. The point around having a process, for instance, I've worked on other bylaws where like the treated water supply bylaw, where there is a process and it is really fair. Part of it includes, we require this information, and then the written approval happens, and then there can be an appeal. And that appeal can go back to the community board. If the community board can't work it through, it can go back to council. So it's worked through, and it's very fair. The timing of that, it's kind of, in my way of looking at it, it's fix of one, half a dozen of the other. It could be, okay, we'll make the bylaw happen, and in this resolution, we'll say, for council to come back with that process as part of the implementation. Or you can do it the other way. You can say, hey, we'd like council to come up with the process, and then if we're happy with it, and then we'll sign off on the bylaw. So really it's your decision on what you feel is best.
So, sorry, I'm a little bit confused. So, are you suggesting that we adopt a bylaw doesn't seem to be complete at this stage?
It's up to you.
And where's the pros in that? Does that keep it? I mean, this has been going on for so long. Fiona, what?
I believe we should get it right first. We're able to use the existing bylaw as it is now until we implement this one. I could leave with you an example, which is number 6, and this is the one that RFSs have gone through that many times, and it's gone nowhere with this committee. Individuals, drainage committees have done it, and it says, without the prior approval of council and only then subject to such conditions as council shall impose, no owner of any land on the banks of any drainage channel shall plant or permit to grow any tree, shrub, hedge, or erect or maintain any fence, building, bridge, or other construction make any excavation in such a position as to interfere with the obstruction of the free access of council workmen, agents, plants or machinery along that drain for a distance of 10 metres from the edge of the drain or such other distance as council may specify in respect of any drain thereof. This is one of the big ones, and we've RFS'd this numerous times over numerous years, and in particular in the far north or the northern area with all the avocado development and growing and shelter belts, etc. But the bylaw has never been able to be used in those RFS concerns. And therefore, that's why I want to make sure that this written approval or approval of council is documented and is able to be added to the management plans or the plans of the council if approved by council, and also that because it's a targeted rate, that it needs to have a change to the rating amount received by the landowners in order to cover those costs.
Roger's got his hand up.
Thank you for that. Through the chair. Yep. So thank you for that. Through the chair. So I think my question would be this: is that rule correct? The rule that's been put in place, as you've just read back from the bylaw, is it something that is correct? Everything you've read there should be happening around that rule.
It should be happening around that rule, as in the avocado orchards, planting too close. Yep. The 10-metre rule is because you have a digger or a machine, and when you have the reach of the arm of the digger and the digger a distance from the drain edge, you need that 10 metres to be able to swing and put your spool outside of the access to that drain. And that's what the 10-metre rule is there for. And all I'm saying in this, Roger, is it's important to have that process there so this bylaw can be implemented. But right now the bylaw has no teeth. It has no teeth. And for an FNDC officer to go out there and do this is setting people up to fail.
So if I was to understand, so you're saying that what's written in the bylaw for a rule is what, everyone's agreeing that the rule is correct, but what's not happening, it's not being enforced.
Well, there's no process to even make an application for
exactly
that rule.
Yep. Okay.
So we're trying to add that in, Roger, to the resolution so that staff are aware, council's aware that there is no process in place for those landowners to actually obtain the permit to do so from council.
Yep.
And we just didn't want to go through this again. We wanted to try and put it all into one resolution to control these 3 items now. We've got A, B and C.
If I can just make a comment. It is a comment about how we're set up at council. So we have a bylaw team, so we're a policy and bylaw making team, which is under Briar and Shane, who go through the process of making a bylaw, which is a very statutory process. We draft it up. We've got the 5-year review period. We have to do that review. That's a process we run through. Then we get approval from council to take it up for public consultation, which we've done, and then we're bringing it back to council now after that consultation with an analysis of the submissions that have come through, and then the council goes either adopt or don't adopt. And then we have this issue that we fall into as a council, that what happens next. So to give effect to that bylaw, to make it, to make it actually do something out there, we've got to implement it into council operations, and this is where we're getting tripped up as an organisation. So you're on the receiving end of that. So Fiona, you're seeing that and seeing that for a long time as staff rolling in and out. There might have been processes in place, unwritten processes. Troy Smith and Steve Little, for example, were heavily involved in those and putting in place really informal processes. From what I understand, it was via emails, etc. So even back then, there wasn't a lot of structure around that. So that's a bit of a shortcoming of where we are as an organisation. That we adopt these things, then we go right. We haven't got a group of people who are grabbing it, taking hold of it, and getting it implemented. And that would be, I'd say, this is probably falling into that space as well. But I'm happy to get the views. Well, Fiona, you've articulated what you're saying out there. Please correct me if I'm wrong, if that's what you're saying. But that's how I'm envisaging what's actually happening here.
Yeah, that is what's happening, has been happening a long time.
Yeah.
And we've, the bylaw's been rushed through. If we had had more time and even given the next few months to actually go through this hasn't even gone back to the drainage committee people who could give examples.
Okay.
And I've given up. It's a waste of time investing anything in, because if you quote the bylaw and the bylaw is not able to be utilised, why rush it? Let's just get
shall we
it
listen?
right.
Melina's gone and added to the C. Could you just repeat what we've got there, please?
So the original, recommendation was staff develop a process to gain written approval from or by council as per the bylaw, or, which was Roger's suggestion, staff report back on implementation plans for the bylaw, including an application process to gain written approval from council.
I go with the first one, that we get the process, because we've always done it the other way.
Yeah.
We've always done it the other way, and it's failed us. And the board
So
hasn't even seen the submissions or anything. It's let it lie on the table, get the process right, and then do it all at once. And also make sure that the land drainage maps are included in the list of the
So through the chair, basically we're going back and forth on this. Our stance is solid. We've discussed everything. We said what we wanted to say. Can we just accept that resolution and move on?
Yeah. I just think that C is important, that C staff develop a process to gain written approval for 2 words from the council. What do you particularly want approval for?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But is there a clause for that?
Yeah, there is.
So, because it's that particular clause we're talking about.
Just getting stuck.
The problem is a few causes.
Through a lot of the causes.
Yeah, it's through a lot of the causes.
Is it for any alterations?
No, it's to gain written approval for whatever we want to say, and from it,
Written approval for any alteration or any changes to the land drainage assets. And
to any changes to land drainage assets.
And drains within the land drainage area. Because they talk about the area rather than the asset system.
Sorry, Donald, did you want to add to that?
Well, just a drafting thing. You could actually just say the process for approval where written approval is required under the bylaw. And then it covers the whole gamut.
That's great.
That's good.
Yeah.
So,
That's good. Yes.
we've got, sorry, Ollie, can you read that out again? Can we go from A?
So we've got A, the land drainage bylaw analysis of submissions and adoptions of amended bylaw report be left to lie on the table.
Yes.
B, updated land drainage maps and a list of drains be escalated to council for inclusion in the district plan, and
Yes.
C, a process for approval where written approval is requested. That staff develop a process. So the original one was staff develop a process to gain written approval from council for any alterations or changes to the land drainage assets and drains within the land drainage area. That was C.
As per the
Donald's suggestion is a process for approval where written approval is requested.
Required.
Required under the bylaw. Thank you.
And the one other thing I would add is a process for written approval and recording, so that those written approvals are recorded within the land drainage management plan.
That would be part of the process.
Yeah, that would be.
Do we have a mover for this?
Darren,
Second.
All in favour? Aye.
Through the chair, who was the mover of that motion?
Darren.
Thank you.
Which one are we moving, C or D?
All of them.
a lot. A lot.
A, B, and C.
A, B,
Sorry.
C is.
Just through the chair, can we just check in with Tammy on B, just to make sure that we're not tripping ourselves up there on the district plan?
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight, I'm sorry, it's a little, if I could just seek some clarification, are all these resolutions or clauses, are they seeking that you want it to be a dual process where the bylaw and the district plan regulates this, or are you wanting to direct council to not use the bylaw and have it in a district plan? I'm sorry, I'm a bit confused reading the resolution. Also, I noticed the language is you're asking for maps to be included into a district plan. Without rules, maps are meaningless. So I think to better understand the intent would perhaps give better direction to council as to why you would like it in the district plan.
Because the current ones aren't up to date.
Challenge you have is if you put maps into a district plan, they don't create rules.
And isn't the bylaw only over the existing drains?
Area. It's over the area rather than the assets. And the bylaw includes the drainage assets which sit within the drainage area. The area is defined by the rating of land that people pay rates for. And that's where you do get some upset people saying, I'm paying drainage rates for what for?
Just through the chair, and I know it's very last minute, but if you're making that resolution, especially around B, if you remember, Tammy was saying there's possible implications of prejudgment later on because it's sitting with the panel. It might be better to separate as A, we'll leave it on the table, but then vote on the three
things
separately.
Rather than
So B could be note that the community board would like this to happen rather than, or request that it happens rather than.
would like consideration.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sound right?
Thank you. That's feeling better. It's been a lot less directive and something we probably can't even regulate. So.
When Fiona asked the question about the kaipara maps on their district plan, did you know the answer to that? Do they have maps on there within their district plan?
The challenge is, sorry, I'm not that familiar with their plan, and they've recently notified a new plan as well. So I'm not too sure what direction the new plan has taken on how they want to manage that issue.
Through the chair.
We'll have to come back to you on that, sorry.
Okay. That's cool. Thank you.
And just that through the chair, from my point of view, with maps there, and it gives us a starting point, and then everyone's on the same page. That's all I look at maps for, as opposed to pulling things out of the drawer, et cetera, when they're and you don't know where you started from.
I think
I need a start point.
I think the point is that when we did do submissions, Fiona made the point that the maps were incorrect and out of date, and the maps that she provided, which I followed up in an email with, was that they be the updated maps that go into the bylaw and they are not, or the bylaw draft. So they are important.
Brian's got a hand up.
So I do know that there is an active piece of work to update the maps, and that the infrastructure team is actively working on that. And you did mention earlier that there is that the drainage boards, I think, are doing the drones, organising the drones and things to help create these updated maps. And in the analysis of submissions, it refers to some of the submissions that were received regarding these maps and how that information will be included and to help inform these updated maps. So that piece of work is actively underway, and the infrastructure team is actually working on that and creating more updated maps, but it will take some time. And so in the draft bylaw at the moment, it was saying that the maps could be updated by resolution, so that as one area has been updated, then that could go in. But at this current state, because it's lying on you want it to lie on the table, then the infrastructure team can continue to work on those maps, and they will bring those maps back to the community board, and I'm assuming the land drainage board for your input as they are updated.
Thank you.
So should we just be clear on our three things?
Yeah. So
do we do them separately? Oh no, we changed the wording, so we probably don't need to approve them separately now, do we?
So the first thing is we're going to leave it to lie on the table. Is that right?
Yes.
Resolution 1. Move.
Second.
All in favour?
Aye.
Second.
The community board would like consideration that updated land drainage maps and a list of drains be escalated to council for inclusion in the district plan.
I think we should say the community board require.
I think so too.
You're not. Yeah.
Like considerations, but
then, like you said, we've got to be careful to vote on that.
Yeah. But you're not all going to be councillors. There's enough to.
Yeah, well, you.
Technically, I don't think you can require it because it's with the panel to make that decision. It's not even council.
Would request be a better
Slightly correct, Donald. What you just said, the panel makes recommendations to council.
The council makes the
council's decision.
Okay.
Request consideration. So
B, the community board requests consideration that the updated land drainage maps and a list of drains be escalated to council in the district plan. Or sorry, do we want to say that the community board would support once we would support should the panel?
No.
But we don't get a say anyway. The panel,
at least we can have one. We don't have to listen, but that's making ourselves very clear.
Get used to that.
Yeah. Okay, we'll just leave it like that.
Second. All in favour?
Okay. And C, staff develop a process for approval from council where written approval and recording is required under the bylaw.
I still want for approval for what? Yep. Approval from council for changes.
Sorry? Where written approval is required under the bylaw.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Matters required for approval.
Someone's going to move that.
Written approval is required by under the bylaw. Am I including the wording and recording?
Yes. Yes.
C, staff develop a process for approval from council where written approval and recording is required under the bylaw. Yeah. I think it's they require a process. Staff develop a process and approval and recording. Does that go up there? Process and recording of
changes, alterations.
C, staff develop a process and recording.
Might be better to say something like staff require process.
Staff develop.
Staff develop a process for the written approvals required under the bylaw, comma, including recording of all decisions.
Including a process?
Recording.
And including a recording.
Including recording.
Recording of all decisions. Staff develop a process for the written approvals under the bylaw, including recording of all decisions.
From council where written approval is required under the bylaw.
You don't need Dolly at the end because you already have it. Written rules required under the bylaw.
How does that sound?
Can live with it.
Roger?
Yeah, I think it's a lot tidier than what it was before.
We've got a mover for that. Cheryl, Darren, Tegan. There you go. All in favour?
Right. Well, it took a while.
Thank you.
I think it's the bylaw versus district plan. I'm trying to. Anyway, thank you. Does anyone need a quick break after that? I think I do. I have too much water. We're just going to stop for 5 minutes.
I have to leave it.
We stop recording.
Looks like
Okay, so we're going to 7.3 on the agenda, page 83. And I think we've got Alistair online. Alistair, did you want to update us, please?
Kia ora tātou. Standing in for Tui, Mokaraka. So this is the report that she wrote for all of the 4 land drainage areas from an operational perspective. And yeah, just for your recommendation. Kia ora.
He's saying take the report as read.
Yeah, so take the report as read. Have anyone got any comments on the report before we move it? Okay, I move that the Te Huki Community Board receive the report for our Drainage Area Committee Land Drainage Works update. Got a seconder?
Darren.
All in favour? We'll move on to 7.1, Waiharara and Kaikino Drainage Area Committee Land Drainage Works updates, page 88. So I suppose we just take it as read again and move that we receive the report for Waiharara and Kaikino. Someone's going to move that?
Daryl, move it. Second.
All in favour?
Aye.
And we go to 7.5, the Mukatangi Drainage Area Committee, and on page 95. And if there's no comments, we'll take that as read. And we've got a mover for this report, Mukatangi Drainage Area.
Darren.
And seconder. Oh, John will second that. All in favour?
Aye.
Mr. Chair, can I just thank Alistair and Tui for the good work that we've got here. We have our work program in place. They've been in discussion with the spray contract to get the spray contractor right, understanding, tidal influence in different areas, understanding spraying twice in certain areas. So looking forward to this year and working with Alistair and Tui to get this program out and running by Christmas. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alistair. Tui.
And we are working on the management plans as we speak. And also now that these have been adopted, we will be moving towards the drone contract. Is there anything we need to update there, Alistair, in regard to, I think we're having maybe a workshop in October, November on our management plan draft?
Yes, through the chair, yes we are. We're looking to finish off developing those management plans and then presenting them to the land drainage committees.
Yeah, and the community board is part of that process as we get into that draft?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I just wanted to mention to the committee. So thank you very much for all that great work and effort.
Thank you. Thank you, Fiona. So we're going to move on to our funding application, page 100. One thing I didn't ask, was it Victoria?
Yeah.
How many visitors are from out of the district? Would it be good? Why would you?
Probably be about 80%.
80%, yeah. Easy. I don't know, I'll speak to this first. It was good to hear from, I had Victoria and sorry, I've lost the name, but because sometimes you your views change and you listen to people. And anyway, like I know our board is really concentrating on assets and infrastructure with money and ratepayers' money as such. And but I see this as a little bit larger event than the usual. I mean, we're trying to avoid the one-day events that aren't really bringing any money into them. And this is also a good cause. So that's just all I want to say, and I'd like to hear from others. I don't know what everyone else is thinking. I don't know how much we want to give. I'm not proposing anything, but I just wanted to say, I know we point a little bit away from the events, but there's been certain ones that were supported on a similar basis. Agree?
Yep. And the organisation have been outstanding.
Yeah, it's just a shame that I mean, there's a lot of places that won't even receive a application for funding after an event has basically started. I'm not
says
sure.
on the thing that it starts on the 1st.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, Catherine will understand what I'm saying there. You can't. Got to be well ahead of it normally.
I had some reservations about it, but I think I'm thinking back actually. The Maori Women's Welfare League's been around for a long time. It's an old hell of a lot ago. You remember Hilda Wilson?
Yes.
Years ago, very much known. Yeah.
So many events and things.
Yeah, I think they've done a good job, and hey, it's a once on.
So who would like to, what are we?
Well, through the chair, I got the quotes that they'd obtained. One was for here, but they're not having it to Yahoo. But then there's a quote, a recent one for Aniwaniwa, and it was 11,500 for them to hire that. But maybe we give a portion to go towards hiring.
I know there's other things too. Someone spoke about they're hiring tables and chairs.
But we kind of have to relate it to a. We kind of have to relate it to a quote.
You move it, Rachel, and it's. I'm with you.
Well, I'm not sure of the amount, but I move that we give something towards hiring of a facility. That doesn't, I mean, that's not that, and on that quote, it's not.
Where was the recommended value come from, Catherine? Was that a request from them, or is that a decision that you decided on?
So through the chair, one is you don't actually necessarily have to specify it's one of the quotes that you're providing to, so long as you've got enough quotes to cover what they're asking. And the actual amount they asked for was $90,880. So, yeah, that's more money than you have in your community grant fund. And when I asked them if there was a minimum, they said, look, anything that the board is willing to grant them, they are happy to accept. So I recommended 5, which seems to be where you usually sit for a longer event. But if you would like to grant more, that is up to you as a board.
I would move the 5.
I'll second that. Okay, Rachel moves $5,000. Darren seconds $5,000. The board in favour? Right. Thank you, Catherine.
And can I thank the Hiku Community Board for that? I'm not a member of the Māori Women's Welfare League, never have been, but it's an event that's nearly as significant as the Kingitanga movement, and there's been some significant national hui as a result of, tangi. So this comes on the cusp of Te Heu's tangi and Tuwhare Toa. And so, yeah, it's going to be a really big occasion. It's a huge mana for the area, because all of those people would have fundraised forever, and they're staying in the local either marae or motels, depending on their age. So, yeah, kia ora to this committee. Ka pai.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on. And we're going to go on to members' reports, and I think I'll start with Cheryl.
Cheryl?
I'm the only one that's done.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Tell them, Bev.
Come on,
There
Bev.
was a couple that didn't get through. One was from Code and one was from the Down. Apologies, they just didn't come through. We all Cheryl. Okay. So my report, you can just don't take it as read. Answer the questions, please. Just put the things in the what's that thing called? In the resolution report. What's happened to Eric Wagner's petition regarding stormwater and planning at Kohora? So you can tell the new board. I'll have a look on them. What actions have been taken with regard to our LTP submission that's attached to this document? Now, there's a lot of things. We in Doubtless Bay are a very good, quiet community, and we've had a lot of issues that we haven't really complained about until something was recently on Facebook. And so there have been a lot of requests for avoiding traffic pedestrian conflict in Doubtless Bay, and I've listed them here on page 113. Since I did that, there have been others, and I wonder if you could write them down to add them with somewhere, please, Marlena. So bypass from Back River Road to Taipa, a pedestrian crossing at Taipa School, a pedestrian crossing at Bush Point Road. Those are three more things for NZTA to consider. Now, obviously, they're not going to do all the pedestrian crossings that are asked for. They're not going to do all of the roundabouts that we've asked for. But they need to do something because increased traffic is causing a problem, and we need somebody to come along to the meeting, not to say why they can't do it, but to tell the committee and community how we can have these improvements, or at least some of them, please. And the other thing, since then on Facebook, there was one request to seal a bridge 2.4 kilometres from State Highway 10 on Tohumaru Road. Can you treat that as an RFS, please? And there is a slump at 124 Tohumaru Road. That's another one. And also there's been a request for a light at Beach Road, Ranganui Road and Mary Hassett Road. That's a 3-street intersection. So to do that, please. We've made some requests regarding Madagascar ragwort, and some farmers put their names down to be included in response to a response that we got to one of our letters, and that was 2 meetings ago. Can somebody follow up, please, and make sure that their names have been passed on to the relevant people? Media, we might as well not have media, really, because all we get is, we represent the whole community, and all that we get is, we gave some funding. That's pretty pathetic in my opinion. A few other things, seeing as it's my last report, I'm going to make it a long one. Council debt's gone sky high. What's the reason for that?
Apartheid pie. Good question.
Well,
I don't know. We've got heaps and heaps of top financial advisors.
What would you say? Go for it.
May carry forward.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know who this person is actually, but he's made a couple of good points, and one of them was the high debt and what that was that, like the bylaw staff decided to put a blanket heritage rule on Monganui, and I can't say anything more because I think it's going through a process, but it wasn't what the community agreed to. Ellen Bell Drive, what's happening there?
Nothing.
Why not? They say they haven't got any money to put in something that will save lives, and yet they have money to employ another manager. So they need to get the priorities right. Managers don't save lives.
That's on my hit list, Cheryl.
Sure it is. Okay, another couple of questions. Kirikiri Roundabout, there was a sign put there by Rotary, and I understand that there's a new sign, a bilingual sign, and I know it's a bilingual town, but it cost $400,000. Surely that's not right. That $400,000 of ratepayers' money was spent on the sign, but it would be worth looking into. And the other thing was council using DEI contractors. Are they not using the contractors that do the best work for less money?
Is that $400,000 why the
No, it's just the sign. Yes.
Yeah, but it's down below and the swinging rocks is up here.
Yeah, but they were doing something more than $400,000. So, yeah, that's me anyway. So thank you very much.
So member Bainbridge has just taken all of the budget out of the whole of the Hiku ward for Douglas Bay issue. Well done.
It's NZTA.
It's even faster.
You've
Just make sure
you've been a very efficient member for your district, Cheryl. Very efficient.
Yeah.
And they should be very proud of you. I wonder if our chair wants to speak next on your report, Adele, or do you want to speak?
Thank you. I did send it through, but obviously Bev hasn't picked up on it. I'm not quite sure what happened. But anyway, I've had about 10 meetings from the 28th of August to the 25th of September. And I had a RMA application for a housing development in Allenvale Drive. So that is going to be a subdivision and 6 new dwellings going up in Allenvale Drive. So I thought I'd highlight that. I've also asked for the status of where the Waipapa Carry Sports Complex proposed lease and where that is at, please. I really need to know that.
Thank you, Adele.
So I'll resend that to Bev so that she can follow up on some of these things. And also, I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank each of my board members, John Stewart, Cheryl Bainbridge, Darren Axe, Rachel Balkey, Bill Sabritsky, and Councillor Foy and Councillor Hilda Hockyard-Hardware for all their hard work for the last 3 years. We have worked well as a board together and have set the board up for the incoming new board. So good luck to those of you who are standing in the incoming elections. And good luck, Cheryl, in your retirement. It's me. Thank you.
Good, Adele.
Thank you, Adele.
Thank you, Adele.
And good on you too. You've been a very good chair.
Member Elke, have you got a report, a verbal report for us?
Sure. So, yes, I am following along Allenvale Drive traffic calming. Great to know, Adele, that there's a subdivision going in there. I did not know that, but that's great because that gives even more strength to the need for traffic calming. So I will get that and keep following that along. YPAP Sports has also been on my radar for a long time, and I did ask at the last meeting that we have an update of that, but haven't seen anything yet. So I'm sure that process should be like consultation, everything should be well and truly sorted and on the way by now, but haven't heard any update. Yeah, and I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank everyone for welcoming me into my first term on the community board and being so helpful. And I always say that this community board would have to be one of the most effective, cohesive community boards in our area and probably within New Zealand for common sense and a real focus on community with a really good handle on what the community needs. So thank you very much for helping me and welcoming me. And yeah, it's been great 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I submitted my report, but it was too early and it was missed for publication. Basically, I missed the RSA presentation. I got back late from Wellsford, but I shot out to Karikirita and got part of their meeting. At the moment, all I'm doing is just seeing all the halls, all the groups I work with, just to make sure that nothing's changed. They've still got our support. They've still got my support, that's for sure. So yeah, it'll be business as usual, and no matter what happens, whoever steps up to the plate will have they'll have the information they need, just like we're doing now. To you, Cheryl, thank you very much. Yeah. In the early days when I first started, you were the one that sort of encouraged me, kicked me under the table, and said, Bill, say your piece. And I really appreciate that. I've watched you lobby. I've watched you say everything in favour of our community, and often it fell on deaf ears, and that wasn't good for me to see. But again, it's encouragement for us to become a good team and we'll work together. So thank you very much. In the future, I hope your door is still ajar, that I may knock on it if I ever need advice. So much appreciated, Bill. Brilliant.
Thank you, Bill. Darren?
All I've got is last community board meeting, I was here and we had a big drainage meeting 2 weeks ago. And I would like to say thanks, Cheryl, too, for all the advice you've given me, particularly around drainage. And you'll be sorely missed. Thank you.
I'll speak to a couple of things, but I'll speak last. Hilda, have you got something to
Kia ora tātou. Yeah, same. Thank everybody on this committee. I haven't always been here, but I do take note of minutes and you know, what is supported, you know, in council level, so that, well, there's 6 votes needed to make something go ahead. And for all the things that don't get followed up on, yeah, aroha. Any other Kaitaia Airport, we have once a month partnership meetings with council and mana whenua, and we're looking at implementing all the things that need to be done to upgrade Kaitaia Airport 1 runway by May 2026. Fuel storage, improving the lighting, drainage, all of the things that have been suggested by locals like Russell Wagner. Taipa, on one day last week I went to 2 wastewater treatment meetings. One was here about Taipa and their frustration, you know, by the local people about, you know, just waiting for action to happen. And luckily we had Tanya Proctor in the room and Steve McNally, and we're able to just hasten up a process, and just felt so sorry for our locals that work really hard and just feel like they're treading water. I'm really happy for Kohu and for getting you know, approval as a result of a resource planning thing. That Kohu has land now for disposal of sewage to land rather than to the water. And Taipa are asking for the same thing because part of the hearings panel required that alternative land be used by September. And there is a piece of land that's been put aside for Taipa, but they've been told if you don't buy it by December, you're out. So that was the purpose of that quick meeting. And today I have a hui at Kaiō, which is a signing of an agreement with Te Runanganui or Whaingaroa about partnership stuff with local iwi and hapu of that area. So it's been whatever, to work across on anything, whether it's planning for houses. They've got 2 issues about water, you know, the water, yeah, that one, and the other one was also about sewerage as well, going into the harbour, and many other probably. And so in those agreements, they're just asking that the council and hapu and iwi work together so that not constantly on the knocking on the door habit. So been really positive, been for me being a Māori ward councillor, and we've got 7 great Māori ward contestants. And yeah, looking forward to the next 3 years. Whether Māori wards survive or not is another story, we'll see. But have enjoyed being working with Moko and Kelly Stratford. I have to say, are both two hard-working leaders in our council and other councillors. So ngā mihi kia tātou. I don't get to vote on this committee, but that's okay. For me, it's just good to know some of the community issues that come across the table. And if I can influence at a council level, kia ora. And I really do appreciate your reports too, Fire.
Thank you, Hilda. And I just comment on, you don't get to vote, but we love to hear you speak. And we do listen. So, and I can guarantee that there's been some of your corridor that has changed our views at times, which is good. I haven't put a report in, sorry, Bev. Hopefully the next term I might get a chance to increase the... recently I've had a quickfire AGM for the Far North Forest Community Trust. Cheryl, you've been pleased to. Summit contacted us regarding the lease and ownership. I think there's a change happening within their business. Someone's looking at purchasing Summit, or something's happening, but it doesn't affect us. But they needed the lease to confirm everything. And Ricky Green come to the meeting, and he was very, very supportive, and also thinking maybe we can harvest our trees a little bit earlier, which would be good for the community. He's going to do a proposal to the board. Well, it'll come through the our meeting was with Mike Metcalf, Peter Jackson, Greg Hodgson, Evan Bird, and myself and Ricky Green. So it's a long way off. 2037 is the end of our lease. Then we'll be in discussion with landowners at some stage. Hilda and Naitokato need to be involved, especially maybe even coming to our board. I have requested a couple of someone that sit on the board, but it was Kaya, I think. Yeah, but at this stage we're not having the meetings anyway. When it it's going to be another 4 or 5 years before anything happens. Allenbow Drive, yes, thank you for bringing that up again. I know there's not a lot of money around, but Hilda, yourself and Felicity can see this at a council level, how important it is. I don't know whether the works in Okaio was budgeted, where they come from, but that's the sort of thing we need. North Park Toilet, still working with Gold. Carol Bergen is going to, I've got to get back to Carol, that's my bad. I requested support from iwi just to throw back at them and say, look, it's not just, they seem to think that I'm coming from a Final District Council request, but I'm trying to explain to them it's a community request. And they still haven't said no. So I'll follow any support up there with Carol going to make. Yeah, other than that, that's my, I think we're very close to the end. Sorry,
through the chair, we've got Brooke Taylor online and she has an update on Waipapa Cody lease.
Okay, we'll listen to that now.
Brooke, would you?
I've got to leave.
Morning all. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Brooke Taylor and I am acting as team leader of property management. We have had quite a bit of staff change in the department, as I'm sure you're aware of, and Waipapa Kauri was one of my handover leases. This has been on hold for quite a long period regarding negotiations with Hapu. We got to the point that Hapu did not want to see this lease go ahead, to which we have now been in negotiations to discuss a shorter term lease with the right of renewal. This is due to go to council hopefully in December and then out to consultation.
What's the term of that lease?
The term of that lease is not completely confirmed with Hapu yet, as we are still in talks about it, but we are hoping it is 3 years plus right of renewal for longer, yet to be confirmed.
Do you want to speak?
Digesting.
Thanks for that, Brock.
Can I just, sorry, raising my hand. Can I just ask Brooke to follow up on the lease around the Wakaama at Taipa, please? I'm not quite sure where they stand with all that, so it'll be really good to know, because I think it was on a monthly and then had to be reviewed, and it's never come back to the board for a long time. So it'll be good to know where we stand with that lease. So at least we know what we're going into when we go and talk to these people about perhaps moving them forward a bit. Thank you.
Brock, I don't think Brock was online earlier. Adele, so
We can send it, maybe. We could send it.
we'll send you, Bev will send you the information regarding, we just want a slight change of plan on the Taipa foreshore placemaking plan, which will need some iwi. We want to check the lease, and then there's going to be some iwi consultation.
Working in alignment with Jay Michalik, Brooke, as well as via Hilda, who's going to set up some engagement meetings with the Hapu.
Okay.
Thank you. Excuse me. We're going to move on. We're going to move our reports, and then I'm going to.
Oh, sorry, I just wanted to say congratulations on the last meeting for this board, for this triennium, and thank you, Cheryl, for all your help and guidance and helping me understand some of the roles of what the community boards do. I love the passion of this board, from the halls, the parks, and rubbish bins, sales shades, all the different things that you all do up here to make this a better place as well, and that you care about your area that you look after. It's so important. And to acknowledge for our members who've lost loved ones this triennium as well.
Thank you, Beverly. You've been awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
One more. And our democracy service ladies, they play a vital role. And sometimes they behind the scenes, all that activity that they do to get these agendas out, our printing team to print the agendas, and Marissa, who had her baby.
Yeah.
To acknowledge.
She had a baby boy, and she, on her final day at council as our staff member, she went was having contractions.
No way.
And had to be kicked out of our office to get home.
We literally had to walk out.
Straight to the hospital to have baby.
That is commitment right there.
Beautiful baby boy.
Yeah.
So cool.
Okay, we'll move the members' reports. I'll move that they're all
Second.
Yep. And then all in favour.
Aye.
And then we're going to go 8.1, the open resolution report. I remember Cheryl, sounded like Cheryl wanted her comments added to that, the report, please. Thank you. Does anyone want to go through anything else?
Covered most of it.
Well, I'll move that it's been read.
Yeah.
Second,
Darren.
and before our closing karakia, I just want to a little relation to Cheryl.
from staff and from the Whānau District Council. I'd also like to, I made sure I didn't have a shave today. I know this is live, so we want everyone to hear this, because I remember the first ever meeting I walked into and Cheryl goes, "You haven't even shaven for the meeting, Mr. Stewart." So I've kept that growth since that day.
It's gone great.
It's gone great. That's 6 years ago. But just briefly, Cheryl, we've all said what I'm going to say. Your district should be very proud. You've stood up for them as well as all of what we've wanted as well. And you've been amazing support for Bill, Darren, myself to begin with, and then Rachel. And it's a shame to see you go, but we know why you want to go. Other than that, thank you very much for starting. Oh, have we got someone?
Adele.
Oh, and of course, Adele. What would you like to, you want to add to that, Adele?
Yeah, oh, yes, all the very best, Cheryl. It's been amazing. You've been a good support for me too. You're sort of like my go-to person when I want a resolution formed and all this sort of thing. And you've just been great over the years, and it's great to talk to you. And I'm sure that we'll be in contact even when you leave. Thank you.
There's no getting away from
That's Unani, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Dawn, can I also say, I've been council for quite a while, but I was in the community board for, I think, 6 years, and Cheryl was beside me, and she taught me an awful lot in the community board years ago. So thank you, Cheryl.
I was thinking in a sensible form since the days of campaign.
You got them behind you.
There's no getting behind you.
I'll take a photo later.
Say cheese. Look at me.
Cheese. Got it?
No, I'm making multiple. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yay. Sure.
So with that, I'll ask Member Falke to have a closing comment for us.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I just sort of add that you need to add the resolutions to the resolutions page that we did around the drainage bylaw this morning, please? Or will that automatically be put into the resolutions page?
It's captured in the resolution, Madam Chair.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Kia tautorangi Māori e ki ruranganga o ngā iwi o te ao. Let your peace reign on all the people of the world. We ask a blessing on Cheryl as she goes off and has the next new adventure. We ask for Adele that she will be feeling so much better, that she can resume normal life and just feel heaps better. We ask a blessing on all our board members, our staff, and the staff that are not here. May they go forward into the rest of the year and the new year being happy, healthy, and set off with new vigour to serve our communities as best as we can. Amen.